live. Can we clap ourselves?
Every year. What you've done is to look beyond the 4 pillars that the cancer program focuses on. Because in our design of our focus areas as a cancer program, we did not consider looking at the well-being of the staff of the hospital, which is very, very important. We did not even consider maintenance, because I remember the last time you came here and you painted the entire ward. So on behalf of the board of the cancer program, I thank you. I thank you for remaining relevant. I thank you for remaining leaders. Leadership is not about positions and titles, because wherever you are, regardless of who you are, you come together for a good cause, for impact, for service. So thank you. Allow me to thank Nsambya Hospital because they're hosting us even here. Dr. Andrew and your team, thank you very much. The sponsors have been mentioned. I'm not a penny in my pocket, because all the money I was getting was spent on visiting clubs and other activities of Rotary. Fabian Kasi was a young man who had just been appointed as the MD of Centenary Bank. I walked to that young man's office. I presented my dream, and that young man had a leap of faith. And he told me, Stephen, we shall do it. I'll do whatever it takes. And I told Fabian very frankly, I said, you're a very big risk taker. Because I said, if we reverse roles, if at that time I was the MD of Centenary Bank, and Fabian had come as the Rotarian looking for that sort of money, certainly I would have said no. That's how much I appreciate you. He was new in the position. The program was new. I had no money. There was no proof of concept. There was nothing. Just some man standing in his face with a dream, and he took that risk. He could have lost his job. As soon as he gave me that money and I ate it, you can imagine what would have happened to Fabian. But from that time on, he has been with us every year, with sponsorships going up and up and up every year. Thank you, Fabian. In addition to Fabian, allow me to thank in absentia Rotarian Dr. Martin Asubuga, who at the time was the ED of this hospital. Because I too went to Martin's office, I said, Martin, I've gone to places, I will not mention them here, asking for land to put this thing. It was still an idea, but I believed we would do it. When I came to Martin, Martin just said, send me. That time there were no emails. It was a fax, said, send me a fax. I sent a fax, and in 2 weeks, Martin had gone through the board, and they brought me here and showed me that piece of land. At that place, there was a very big tree. As they said, the rest is history. So that's how the thing started. Of course, with the 4 other Rotarians, and none of them is here, unfortunately. Engineer Ebo Katoire, Engineer Patrick Batumbia, Architect Ian Senkatuka, and Wilson Senikwanawa, who is a quantity surveyor. Now, those are the team we came together to start with, and asked each of them to give me their services free of charge. I couldn't afford to pay their dues, fees. They said, we are going to work with you. So we came together, they did the drawings, they did the choice, and everything else. And Fabian gave us the seed money. 300 million shillings at that time. We fought towards the building, and the other 60 to do cancer camps all across the country. That's how far we've come. But after 1 year, that money got finished. And by 2012, we didn't have any money. And that building was on wall plate. And that's when the idea of the cancer run came. And here I want to thank past Governor Shamila Bat. She was in Tanzania. That time she was not even a president yet, but she was a wife of my country chair. And she had the idea of a dam marathon. And I'd been participating in dam marathons, going there with my brother John Magezi here, and I think Ken also came, and Governor Emmanuel. We used to go there every year to run. And then I came back and told my people, If these clubs in Dar es Salaam can come together and run for a good cause, why can't 60 clubs then in Kampala do the same? But it was not easy, I can tell you. The first team I put together of 10 people, when I called them for the second meeting, half of them never came back because they thought I was mad. Because I told them we can run and raise at least 50 million shillings in year one, and we can organize 5,000 runners. And they told me, Stephen, we have never had a run in Kampala of that size. By then there was no MTN run yet. So for you to start thinking that you are going to collect 5,000 people with less than 2,000 Rotarians and collect 50 million shillings, you must be mad. And indeed, 5 of them never came back for a second meeting. So tactfully, I invited Rotaractors to replace them. And they delivered. The cancer run, first one, the numbers were 5,600. The money we collected was 68 million. Beyond the 50 I had given them as a target. Since then, we've been running year in, year out. That word you see, we had planned to do 5 runs, but we finished it with only 3 because we got so much support from corporates. We got cement from Hima Cement, we got paint, we got iron sheets, all those things were given to us in kind. So we were able to finish the run in 3 years, 2012, 2013, and 2014. And 2015, we gave the word to the hospital, and that's how my friend Winnie became a beneficiary. One of the very first patients in this hospital was Winnie. Now, the following year, 2015, my brother Emmanuel was having the fundraising of the blood bank, completing the blood bank. We said, let's give you one run. So that year we raised 221 million, and we got 200 million, gave to blood bank in Mengo to complete. And we said we are through. Our plan was now to go and look at other places and give support to other hospitals. Then hell broke loose. In Uganda, we only had 1 machine all the time, but it was even faulty. And that's how my friend Martin Chaga died, the one who gave me this anger to start this project. In 2016, it totally collapsed. And so together with my board, we said, you people, we can't now go on looking at Lacho Hospital or go to Kasese. We must go back to Zambia and put up a radiotherapy center because there was no radiotherapy machine anywhere, not even in Mulago at the time. That's when the president was encouraging people to go to Nairobi. And the government would subsidize the costs in Nairobi. But how many people with the cancer in this country can even afford an air ticket to Kenya? And so the board said yes, but we didn't know. I'm telling you the truth. Had I known the cost that this thing would take, I would never have embarked on it. Because for me, I was told the bankers, then I thought of my house, how much I spent on it. I said, if I multiply that by 5, then I said, maybe I can do it within 2 billion. So I told my board we shall do it. When we got the people doing, the country surveyors doing the estimates, the shocker was there. But we had made an announcement to the public that the cost of the bankers alone with that equipment was coming to 13 billion Uganda shillings. The first run we had after that, we raised 230 million. How many runs do you need to have to raise 13 billion? But trust the power of faith. I would go home sleepless. But every time I go to these meetings, this guy sits on the board also for Kenny Mugesha. I would convince them to Kushikola. But they didn't know how much panic I had because me, I knew what to take. Then the following year, we did 300 million. Then I divided 13 billion with 300 million and said, my wait. I needed over 30 runs to do that. And so then I went on and on, tested 700 million, thought there was someone coming, but still would need more than 20 runs to complete. You know what happened next? COVID. 2 years at home. Now that was trouble. But again, what you had was the power. We had the faith and also the confidence. So we said, let's go on. And then you see Parliament of Uganda comes on board. Now for the first time we crossed to 1 billion. Then we started seeing, yes, we started seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Then last year, magic happened. From 1.1 billion the other year, last year the figure was doubled. We raised 2 billion. In the meantime, whatever money you're collecting, we're putting on the account and 2 years. Because when you're building bunkers, when you start, you don't stop a phase. You know, you need Atomic Energy Council to approve. You don't make any risk, because once you stop, you could get a crack, and that is gone. All the money you have sunk in has gone. You can imagine, it has happened before in Kenya, where they built actually a bank and finished, and it was condemned. So you can imagine sinking 13 billion there, and then they tell you, please, because you have any radiation challenges, escape through those cracks, you are finished. So last year we raised 2.1 billion, and by last year, the next phase you are supposed to be going to, which is phase B, 2A, we need 4 billion to finish that phase. So we put the 1.1 billion in Fabian's bank, open the fixed deposit, and then we began using that and giving targets to the council and chairs. So this year, we challenged Rita, said, Rita, we promised the people of Uganda that we shall have a radiotherapy center by 2027. How much money do you have to complete the bankers? So for this year, you must give us a minimum of 3 billion. And then we told the chair coming next year to do the same. And that's how we are still confident, because we know we are going to get that money. So we are confident in 2027 that we are going to have this place really opened. But don't forget, up to that point, no equipment. Up to that point, no trained staff. Even with the best machines in this world, without the right brains behind the machine, you're wasting your time and your money. So, what you are doing now is to run this thing parallel. The counseling program is putting up a global grant. And that global grant is going to focus on especially training and equipment. Now, that's why this year, the donation is up. Because we think that we shall need a lot of money in terms of our contribution. In addition to the 2 districts giving us JDF, we are looking at least 10 clubs, preferably 20, each club giving us $10,000 contribution. And then we do a global grant of not less than $4 million. Because we must finish this thing in 2 years' time. So that program is going on. The other day I had a meeting with our AD and the AD Andrew in his office, and we are looking at this global grant, the components, what we need to put in there. And then we realized that it's not enough to do that. We also need to put there a mobile clinic. You saw that bus, Cancer Institute has one, which goes to communities and screens people. Cervical cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and all others. Now, something happened. In April, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. Bigger shocker. And between May the 3rd and June the 11th, I was going to the Cancer Institute with my mother every day. But I'm telling you, that was an opportunity for me to understand cancer beyond now. I've been doing it in Fiore. And I'm going to share with you a couple of stories to show you how bad cancer is. Forget about the speeches we make here. You need to walk there to see it. You need to go there with a patient like I did to understand it. Mulago now has 2 linear accelerators. About the best equipment you can think about. 2 beams. They are called the True Beam. They are about the latest linear accelerators. Of course, Dr. Andu here would understand. Mulago has got about the best stuff in terms of cancer treatment in the region. People even are sent here for training. Best stuff. But I can tell you, they have two beams, then they have even a cobalt, which apparently is not functional. So it's new. Now, each of those machines, maximum per day, can treat 130 people. If they start working at 4 in the morning up to midnight. The staff are there Of course, they will get stressed. You can't work for those hours, inhuman, but they try. But because of that, these machines constantly, at least one machine is down. For the about 50 days, I was going there with my mother. It is only 14 days when all the machines were working. The rest of the days, it was only one machine working. Now, the queue of patients waiting to go to that machine is consistently over 3,000 people. Now, if one machine is working, they can only handle 130 people. So in one of the visits, when I was there, I asked a doctor a question. I said, "But doctor, you have got this bus here with all the equipment. Why didn't you send the bus? I always find it here. Did it break down?" Then the doctor explained and said, "Stephen, we used to send the bus out to communities. And because of increased awareness and testing, the numbers, the influx that you see." And then he said, "One of the saddest things," this is a doctor whose name I will not mention, "that I've gone through as a doctor, is a patient walks to you, you take the patient for screening, and the patient is stage 2 cancer. And then you as a doctor know that this person is supposed to survive. Because you have the machines, we have the doctors and others. But you also know that because of the queue we have ahead of this patient, it's going to take this patient a minimum of 2 months to get to that machine. And after 2 months, by that time, this will be cancer stage 4.